I was a trader for many, many, many years, 15 years. And at the time, this was in 2009, I worked for Merrill Lynch, one of the big investment banks. And I mismarked my books during 6 weeks. Mismarked meant that I overvalued the portfolio or my trading positions. And it was a lot of money. I told my boss it was around 100 million, but the end result after the investigations had been going on and I had been sacked, it was closer to 450 million. So the books that I was trading were overvalued.
So trading involves a certain amount of risk anyway. So essentially you were taking a much bigger risk.
Yes, I took a lot of risk, an awful lot of risk on behalf of the bank, yes. I mean, otherwise you wouldn't lose that much money, of course. Risk-taking itself, as everybody knows, was completely way off the scales ahead of and during the financial crisis. And I was definitely one of those that took a lot of risk on behalf of the bank. I think it was pretty common. It increased gradually, really, since I started as a trader during the early mid-1990s. So the banks took more risk, I took more risk, and it was sort of a gradual increase.
So by your own admission, you were a bigger risk taker than most. Why did you do it?
Take risk. It was one of the most exciting parts of the job for me.
But this wasn't just trading between countries or institutions or between currencies. This was trading that made an impact on people's pension funds and just ordinary folk, right?
Yes. I mean, if I traded mainly currencies and derivatives linked to interest rates. And of course, they were all related to money somehow. And that, at the end of the day, that affects everybody in society. Not only traders or central banks or governments, but also if you are a tourist, if you buy holiday money, then it will also affect that. Absolutely.
So you were given the sack by Merrill Lynch because?
For the mismarking episode. That was it. That was of course completely wrong. I made a huge mistake, and I should never have done it. But it was definitely something that I should have been sacked for. Absolutely, and they did the right thing.
When you say it was wrong and you shouldn't have done it, is that an admission of taking full responsibility for what you did?
Yes, absolutely. I did that at the time, and I still do it. Yes. I felt a lot of guilt, and I still feel a lot of guilt because of what I have done. But where do you draw the line between what is legal, what is just morally wrong, and what is wrong towards your company, and how many millions do you have to lose in order for that to sort of go over that line?
So from a moral perspective, when you were doing it and taking these risks, is there for you a chasm between the morality of what you did and the fact that you're willing to, and the criminality of it? Because there clearly hasn't been a court case. You're not somebody who served time for what you did. You just lost your job. I'm just wondering about the morality, because you say you admitted that you'd done something wrong and that you should have been sacked for it. Is there a sense that when you were doing it, that you were aware of the morality or the immorality of it?
No, I think that's sort of it really happened overnight when I admitted to this. It was really a light bulb moment for me when I realized, one, that the amount was phenomenal. And for me at the time, I didn't even think that $100 million was a lot of money in a trading perspective, which was, of course, it's enormous. And that I realized. And then I realized, well, this is, of course, extremely wrong. But also the idea that you trade and you speculate on the meltdown on the global financial system, which I did, is that really morally right? Regardless whether you mark your books correctly or not. And I think that's sort of where in the beginning, I felt guilty of everything, of becoming a trader in the first place. Whereas now I'm sort of still on a journey trying to find out what is there anything like morally correct trading or not. I'm still trying to figure that out.
You were compared to Nick Leeson, the trader who brought down the Barings Bank. Is that something that you are happy with? Do you object to that comparison?
I was extremely angry when I was labeled a road trader. Extremely angry because it's a short list of people on that list, and it's like being labeled a rapist or a terrorist or something like that, which is horrible. It will change you. It will change people's perception of you, and certainly in my case that was something very, very difficult for me. But I also done research on it, on road traders, and I realized that is something that will never go away for me. I just have to learn to live with it, rather than try to change the definition of road trading or trying to convince people that I'm okay anyway.
In a way, your reason for writing this book is to try and counter that, if not for anything else apart from your children. You know, you talk about the idea that they could Google your name and the first thing that would come up would be your downfall and the wrongdoing that you did when you were a trader, and that you want to replace that.
Not replace. I don't think I can replace ever what is out on Google, but I can create one perspective that is my own. I can write my own story that is completely my own, is very subjective. And that was really the starting point of the book as well, because they were 6 and 8 at the time, now teenagers. And of course they know everything by now, but when I started to write the book, it was part of it was exactly that, to try to write down what I felt, what I thought about, why I became a trader, why I made a huge mistake.
How much did you earn at the height of your career?
7 figures. That's all I want to say.
Do you miss it now, though? Because you're now a lecturer, and I'm assuming you don't earn anything near a 7-figure salary.
No, I don't. I do miss the buzz of being a trader, to be so close to where things happen. That is very, very exciting, and I miss that. That is absurd, I know, but I have to admit that is true.
On a daily personal note, I wonder whether there is sadness. You don't regret having been involved in this world, but you will forever be associated with this particular scandal.
Yes, I will, and I've always wanted closure, and I did a PhD after the scandal, and I thought, well, once I've submitted my PhD and once I get the diploma, everything will be over. It wasn't. Then I thought, well, once the UK regulator lifts the ban that I've been having for 5 years, then it will be over. It was lifted. I didn't feel any different the day after, not at all. And then I thought, well, once I write this book, and when this book comes out, that will finally be the final chapter. And it's now coming out, but I still feel the same. So I don't think it will ever go away. It will always be part of me.
The very definition of a rogue trader suggests someone who is a deviant in some way, really separate from the mainstream. Being labelled a rogue trader, you say, changed you. How?
It's the perception of people. When that happened, there was a particular moment in my life when I was labelled a rogue trader. Then, because everybody knows the term or has heard the term, and there are very few on that list. So it's an exclusive little group of horrible people. But I wasn't born a rogue person, and I wasn't a rogue person at school. The writing has forced me to think about these things. Some of them are very, very painful to think about.